For Democrats we caught up with today, it's been a lot to process. And for Republicans, they're still confident that Donald Trump is going to come out on top.
Rebecca, what's the scene over there?
Yes, well, actually, as you can see, it's a very busy scene right now. We have police have really enclosed the whole area. We did catch up with some students a little bit earlier. They have been here about 5 days now. Just take a look at all of these tents. We've had dozens of students camping out here. Well, voters tonight were so excited. So many of them came out to hear the vice president speak. A lot of those people who couldn't make it in, they're still in the area. We have people coming and going, but just to give you an idea of how busy it was here earlier, look behind us. Look at all this just stuff in the area. These are things that people were going through security behind us that they couldn't bring with them. So there's a lot of questions right now, like how soon schools in the area could start feeling the impact of reduced staffing here at the Department of Ed. We're at a rescue boat staging area. We want to show you what we're seeing right now. So maybe in the last 40 minutes, we've seen at least 2 rescue boats make their way in and out of the water here. Nearly 2 months after the mid-air collision over the Potomac took the lives of 67 people, their families are fighting for change.
No family should have to go through any of this.
Several loved ones came to today's subcommittee hearing on the NTSB's preliminary report, hearing from the board's chair and leaders with the FAA and U.S. Army Aviation.
This has been the hardest 2 months of my life. The hardest day of my life was the 29th. The second hardest day was the day after that when the NTSB told us about our loved ones spread across the ice.
Today, some senators questioned why more of the NTSB's recommendations haven't been implemented yet.
We owe it to these families. We owe it to them now. It's not that hard to get this done.
The NTSB's chair told reporters after the FAA gets a lot of safety data that they can pull from and learn from.
And I'm telling you this now, the next big accident is in the data right now.
That's what Tim Lilly and other victims' loved ones want to prevent, another tragedy.
I think that my son's legacy is to get some things done to make sure that this doesn't happen again. The families are like-minded and getting change made, and we're trying to do that while we grieve at the same time.
Some council members traded the Wilson Building for Capitol Hill today to plead their case for the district, urging Congress not to reduce their spending levels.
These are devastating cuts that would happen, and I think, frankly, a lot of members of Congress probably just don't even realize what they may be voting on, taking $1 billion out of the budget.
They're concerned about ramifications.
Very scary. It would be devastating, the impact for our city, for our residents, cuts to police, fire, teachers. We got to make sure we're talking to these members and fighting for D.C.
Council members Charles Allen and Robert White joined 4 of their colleagues. They want lawmakers to know the district operates like a state, not a federal agency, which means holding them to 2024 spending levels doesn't save federal dollars, as the vast majority of the district's budget is taxpayer dollars. First, the council members went to the House Speaker's office in the Cannon Building. They were there just minutes before they were sent on their way. Then they walked over to the Rayburn Building, to D.C. Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton's office. A staffer there led them through the tunnel to the Capitol Building, where they tried to get the House Speaker again.
Really want to clear out, but 2 minutes with somebody for the sake of 700,000 people.
But take 2 came up empty.
There's a lot at stake. 2 minutes is not a lot to ask for such a tremendous impact on D.C. residents, public safety, schools.
District officials say 10 agencies, including police, fire, public schools, and the Metro, make up 70% of their local funds budget. Such a large cut so late in the fiscal year would mean large cuts to those agencies.
It just locks up our tax revenue that our taxpayers paid in a bank account. And we won't be able to spend it to deliver services. And more than that, it will force firing of police officers, firefighters, teachers. It'll have a devastating impact.
And earlier today, I reached out to the House Appropriation Committee Chairman's office for his response to the bill and to council members' concerns here. I haven't heard back yet.
The Committee on House Administration will come to order.
Crime in D.C. is on the agenda again, 2 weeks after the House Oversight Committee advanced a bill aimed at tackling it.
DC crime is out of control.
It was mostly Republican members who turned out to today's House Administration Committee hearing on safety on Capitol Hill. They heard from a Republican think tank, the U.S. Capitol Police Chief, and the Metropolitan Police Union Chairman. He pointed to 500-plus vacancies at MPD. He says council initiatives are to blame for that and for the increased crime in recent years.
I don't think that the council writ large has an appetite to actually do what needs to be done to effect these changes that will really reduce crime.
D.C. council members beg to differ. Chairman Phil Mendelson sent us a statement saying in each of the last several years, the council has passed legislation that strengthens and clarifies our laws regarding public safety. The Seoul House Democrat pointed to MPD statistics showing decreases in violent crime year to date. When it comes to safety on Capitol Hill, the topic of today's meeting, the police chief says crime here is low.
If you took the crime rate of things that happen on this campus, it's very low. There's not a lot of crime on this campus. Not non-existent, but there's not a lot.
The chief says his team works hand in hand with MPD on calls in and around Capitol Hill. The House Committee chairman tells us Congress needs to step in to help.
So many people and visitors on Capitol Hill no longer feel safe. It's a direct result of the soft on crime policies of the DC City Council.
Let me welcome you to this meeting of the Prince William County Electoral Board.
A lot happens behind the scenes before you cast your ballot.
This third quarter, we spent only 13% of our budget.
There's electoral board meetings, different stages of oversight, even before you get to the equipment.
We met those challenges really well.
Virginia law says you can't do any interviews or reporting within 40 feet of the voting center. It's all to mitigate distraction and confusion. But I can still take you inside. I just can't talk to you while I'm in here. There's some things we can show you, like the marking stations here, and others we have to be more careful about, like the ballot scanners. They don't want anyone trying to reverse engineer them.
There's so many things that we have to make sure we're on top of.
Eric Olson is the county's director of elections. John Alvarez is his deputy director. John's the ops guy, in charge of the equipment. He explains the ballot scanners are all reviewed and certified by the State Department of Elections, and they run a test deck of ballots through each scanner before each election.
They're very secure. They meet a long list of requirements.
And they can't be hacked.
Our ballot scanners don't even have modems in them, so they're not capable of going online or being hacked into remotely.
Voter registration lists are updated year-round. Mail ballot envelopes are verified 4 times before being processed. And to top it all off, elections officers from both parties oversee the whole process.
I always say that, pickup trucks and Coca-Cola and elections are 3 of America's best exports, and it's something that people should have, faith in.
Reporting in Prince William County, Rebecca Turco, 7 News.